Let's talk about something fun and maybe a bit underrated in the Pixel phone world, which is the custom-made first-party Pixel weather app. Originally, this was released with the launch of the Pixel 9 in August 2024, but very recently it rolled out to a ton of Pixel devices from the 6 all the way up to the 8A and even the Pixel tablet. Thankfully, the Made by Google podcast gave us some cool insights into its development and how it came to be, so let's take a quick deep dive into everything you need to know. And if you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel because we have a lot more Google/Pixel content coming your way. The story behind the Pixel Weather app is pretty interesting to say the least. If you tuned in to the Made by Google podcast, which I highly recommend for any Pixel fans by the way, you get a lot of insight into Pixel development as a whole, and you can listen to some of the decision-making processes behind the scenes. Anyways, the Made by Google podcast recently featured Christy Bradford from the Pixel Essentials team, where they mentioned that 82% of Pixel users check the weather at least once a day. Logically speaking, this is pretty strong evidence that a first-party weather app would be well received and that there is a lot of demand amongst the Pixel user base. Christy also mentioned the lack of a truly premium integrated weather experience on Pixel devices, which I totally understand. Of course, Apple and Samsung have their own first-party apps, and Pixel devices needed a high-quality native experience that aligned overall with the Pixel brand as well. The end result we got is this beautiful, ultra simple tile-based interface able to give you a ton of information at a quick glance. Each tile displays an essential data point like UV index, air quality, sunrise and sunset times, precipitation metrics, plus a ton more in a clear, easy to read format. Thankfully, there is some light customization here in the form of reordering the tiles to put whatever is most important to you at the top. And overall, it's just a visually appealing interface using rounded corners and the bubbly widget type UI we expect from Pixel. Although fair warning, it wouldn't be a Google product without some light, practical use of AI sprinkled in, which is another focus of this app. The AI weather report, for example, is a nice addition that's only available on the Pixel 9 series, at least for now, that uses Gemini Nano to generate a glanceable weather summary. It basically takes the most important weather data points for the day, like temperature, precipitation, wind, and more, and sums it up into a single sentence, although you can tap on the weather report for a deeper dive and more information. I like using it because it gives me practical, actionable information to help me be prepared for the day, whether that's wearing something weather appropriate or changing my plans to fit the upcoming weather forecast. Personally, I spend a lot of time in upstate New York, which has a lot of geographic diversity, and this time of year, the weather can vary greatly day by day, so this quick blurb of text right in the morning has been a positive addition to my workflow, as opposed to going through and looking at all the data metrics manually. But there are more features that should be helpful too, like a super accurate weather map powered by Google's nowcasting technology. It uses an AI model trained on historical data, radar towers, and information from licensed providers to give this information. You can scrub through up to 6 hours of data where you can see exactly when and where you can expect changes in precipitation. It's quite informative, has great visuals, and does give me good insight into future weather conditions, so overall, it's a great addition. Another feature that's only available in the UK, Italy, France, and Germany right now is pollen data, where you can see a 4-hour forecast broken down by different pollen types like grass, trees, and weed. On top of that, you get proactive notifications for major weather events like evening forecast and precipitation alerts as an example. Finally, there are a ton of small details included in this app like vibration feedback that responds to the intensity of rain, an Easter egg where you can tap on the rain icon to hear rain sounds, and cool visual effects with cityscapes and landmarks to give you a feel for the location that you're viewing. Overall, the app is great, especially for casual users like myself, but I do have a few small pieces of feedback. For one, I'd love to see more widgets. All of these cool data tiles that we already have inside the app should be available on the home screen, no doubt. We do have some basic forecast widgets, but more options are always much appreciated. Also, if there's an easy way to look up weather for a specific city without adding it to my saved locations first, that would be wonderful. And for the biggest, most glaring controversy, where, how, why, what happened to Froggy? For those who don't know, Google Weather used to have an iconic Froggy mascot, but for some reason, when the Pixel Weather app was released, we saw Froggy did not make the cut. The Made by Google podcast does touch on this, mentioning that they wanted to go in a different direction, focusing on a glanceable, beautiful, immersive experience that's also true to the core of the Pixel aesthetic. And they also said they didn't want to cater to one side, as about half the users liked the mascots, while the other half didn't, apparently. This is understandable, don't get me wrong, but I think it's pretty clear the community misses him greatly. Almost every Reddit post, website article, or YouTube video has comments begging for Froggy to return, so please Google, bring him back before the community goes into full-on riot mode. So, to answer the big question, is the Pixel Weather app any good? And for me, that answer is a resounding yes. To be clear, I'm a casual user at most, so I don't need all these crazy bells and whistles. 90% of the time, the AI weather report and precipitation map gives me everything I need to confidently go about my day, and in that regard, I'm more than satisfied. But let me know your thoughts now that it's available on the Pixel 6 and up. Have you been using it every day like Google data suggests? Do you have a different weather app that you prefer or better suits your needs? Please let us know in the comments, as myself and the Android community would love to hear your thoughts, but in the meantime, I'm getting out of here. Before I do, huge shout out to our channel members on screen right now. Simply put, we love you guys and appreciate your support as we work super hard to bring you the best Android content on the platform. Until next time, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9 to 5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.